Yeah, I suppose we've been lucky, haven't we?
Yeah,
We missed all the snow.
that we did. Yes.
Hello, John. How you doing?
Hello there. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. We're a few minutes early, so they should all start coming in shortly, hopefully.
Right. That's fine.
Where are you, John?
I'm in Shipley, West Yorkshire.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're a foreigner.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that coming from Yorkshire.
Oh no, we're all southerners. We're down here in Bournemouth, sunny Bournemouth, John.
Yes, if you go any further south, you get your feet wet, don't you?
Did you have much snow up your way?
We not this last weekend, but we did about 7 or 8 days ago.
Okay.
We had a reasonable covering.
Ah. Good afternoon, Ted.
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Ted.
Good afternoon. Oh, what's up here? Oh.
Are you well, Ted?
Yeah, very well. You?
Yes, thank you.
Good. Hello, John.
Hello. And the picture behind me is the Bingley 5 rise locks, because the Rotary Club
Oh,
that I come
wow, that
from
looks nice.
is in Bingley, and so that is a significant feature of the Leeds to Liverpool Canal.
Ah,
Yeah, it looks very nice, John.
Well, in days of greater freedom, there were a lot of people who in their longboats would visit those locks just for the joy of going up and down.
In a longboat?
In a longboat, yes, a narrow boat,
Ah, okay, yeah.
which are quite long, but very narrow.
Did
They
they
need to be
charge
narrow to
for
get
it,
in
or
top.
was it a free service?
Sorry?
Did they charge for it, or was it a free service to go up and down?
Well, you pay, I understand, a significant sum for a license each year. Costs a lot more than your car license, but that goes towards maintaining the canals and repairing locks and so on. And so that's a significant expense which you have to pay.
Afternoon, Richard, Henry.
Roy, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I think I'm there.
We're all there.
All there. Well done. Thank you.
Bye.
My supervisor.
oh, well done.
She's your IT support.
Yeah.
Well,
IT, admin and catering.
Oh, multitasking.
Cheerio.
Bye.
Ah. Mm. Mm.
Afternoon, Robin and Carol.
Oh,
All right.
hello.
hiya.
Hello.
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 Just getting a pen to see you.
What? Just get my pen. Oh, I might have to take some notes. I don't know. I've always got my pen and paper.
Well, just to let everybody know that Talbot asked me to record the session. So if anybody's got any objections, when I edit the recording,
That's
I can
fine.
always take anything out that anybody
No,
does.
that's fine.
Okay, yeah, fine.
Okay.
Where's Marjorie? Afternoon, Marjorie. Talbot, afternoon.
Where's Ted?
He was there a
Hello,
minute.
Robert.
There he is.
Hello, Jill.
Sitting on top of your head.
Astrid's at the dentist, so she's going to be a few minutes late.
Oh no.
Oh, she knows what the drill is.
Oh.
There's Mr. Patterson. Afternoon, Morris. There's Patricia. Afternoon, Patricia.
Good.
Afternoon, Morris.
Hello.
Nice to be here.
There's Jane Styleslinger. Good afternoon, Jane. Michael Dwyer. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon. Oh, wow. All these lovely people. That's so good.
Afternoon, one and all.
Hi.
Hello. Hello, Mike.
Right.
Afternoon, Mary.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello, Mary. Good
Hello.
afternoon.
Good
Hello,
afternoon.
Mary.
Thank you everyone for your lovely cards and kind wishes and thoughts.
Oh,
Right.
no. Thank you.
Can't put these earbuds in. See if it works.
How is everyone? Has anybody had a vaccination yet?
Yes.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh.
I had mine.
Oh,
Wednesday. Yeah, I'm going on Wednesday.
I'm going to.
wow.
Are you? How did you
Yeah.
manage that, Marjorie? That is very good. Was it
There was a letter in the post asking me if I wanted to go to the BIC. So I booked that online. And then the next day I got a text from my local surgery saying, did I want to go to St Leonard's? So, sort of,
Oh,
I'm
I'll
in
take
demand.
take one of those. Yes, sometimes there's no right reason,
No,
is there,
it's not.
really?
No.
I haven't had one. I haven't had a letter.
No, I haven't. Well,
Yeah.
Well, you will do. Well, good afternoon. I believe it's 2:30. It's just after. So we will begin. Why not? And good afternoon on this rather chilly January day. But hey ho, the sun is shining and oh yes, Robin, yes,
Yes,
Carol. The sun is shining and we're here and some of us have had our vaccinations, so that's okay. Now, I do believe that before I hand over to Ted, first of all, let me say hello to Dr. John Rhodes. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for your welcome.
Delighted that you're here, and I'm so glad that Ted was able to get in touch with you, because after I saw the item in our Rotary magazine, I thought, do you know what? That would be something interesting for our members. So I passed it on to our speaker secretary, and he did a sterling job. So he will introduce you in a moment. But before that, I do believe that Roy, you're hosting this event today.
Yeah, I'm actually recording. About a few minutes ago, I mentioned that, and if anybody has any objections or wants to be edited out, I can do that before I upload to YouTube.
And that's exactly what I was going to say. You stole my thunder. We can't.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Patricia.
Yes, I was going to mention that, but I'm glad that for those of you who were on before I was, that Roy had mentioned that. So it will be interesting to record the session and then to listen to it afterwards. So after we've heard from Dr. John Rhodes, I'm assuming, Dr. John Rhodes, that we will be having questions and answers. Is that so?
Certainly, I will respond hopefully positively to questions. And if you make them very difficult, I will pass them on to my wife, who is actually in the same room, but sitting on the other side of the Leeds to Liverpool, Bingley 5-rise locks. And so you can't see her at the moment, but she is
Where's it?
Wonderful. Okay, well, thank you. Yes, so after your session, then I believe we will be having the magic red bag and secretary's notices. So without further ado, then I will pass on to Rotarian Ted Taylor. Ted.
Thank you very much, Madam President. Yes, I was very pleased to contacted Dr. John Rhodes when you asked me to talk about the Mercy Ships and what Rotary has been doing. So I'm pleased he's here today to speak to us. So now I'll offer you over to Dr. John Rhodes to talk to us about the work that Mercy Ships do for the Rotary itself. Okay.
All right, shall we just wait until David arrives?
Yeah, all right.
That's good. Well,
and also excuse me, Roy, have you pressed the recording button?
It is recording, yes.
Okay.
Okay, good. Well, just I understand it's good etiquette on Zoom to just give you a little bit of background information about ourselves. And so to put you in the picture, my work as a GP ended in 1993. And then for the first half of my retirement, we worked in 12 areas of the world on a voluntary basis. And then for the last 16 years, we have been involved with Mercy Ships, representing them to groups, small and large, and at conferences, Rotary and medical. Most of our work has been in the north of England, with occasional forays into Wales, Scotland, and even to Europe. So that's just a thumbnail sketch of Iris and myself. Right, I will now go to share screen so that I can bring you the PowerPoint presentation, and then we will then go to let me just concentrate on this at the moment, get it right, hopefully. And I hope now that everybody can see the starting screen.
Yeah.
Okay, you can see a picture of ourselves. And so we will move on now to the presentation about Rotary Ships, and then afterwards to questions. Mercy Ships is a long-standing charity focused on bringing healthcare to underdeveloped nations, mainly in West Africa, using hospital ships. On the screen, you will see people's lives being radically changed, and this enables them to live their lives in a way they had never thought to be possible. The African Mercy is the current ship and is the largest charity-run hospital ship in the world. Since 2007, a strong partnership has developed between Rotary and Mercy Ships, and twice during this period, it has been one of the 2 RIBI charities for the year. Mercy Ships is a Christian-based charity and is modeled on the life of Jesus, who brought healing to the underprivileged and forgotten poor. Don Stevens, the founder, and his wife Dayan from Texas were challenged by the needs of their profoundly disabled son and how he would have fared in a third world situation. Don is a Rotary Paul Harris Fellow, a Christian, and also interested in ships. Most major coastal cities have good communications to the hinterland, so a hospital ship made a lot of sense. Since 1978, the charity has outfitted and operated a total of 4 hospital ships to serve developing nations. But now the African Mercy is the only one in active service. The African Mercy started its service in 2008 and visits host nations by invitation. It stays approximately 10 months in one port, offering a large variety of surgical procedures. There is also assistance in infrastructure development and training for local healthcare workers, but more of that later. Approximately 52 million people die each year in the world. That's according to statistics from the Lancet Medical Journal. 32% of these deaths are due to the patient not getting surgery when they really need it. That is 18 million people. In the UK, we are cushioned by the National Health Service, but just for argument's sake, let's transfer these statistics to our country. It would mean wiping out the entire population of London, Birmingham, Glasgow, Edinburgh, Dublin, Swansea, Belfast, and Cardiff in avoidable deaths each year. In sub-Saharan Africa, due to a critical shortage of qualified doctors and medical facilities, 93% of inhabitants have problems in getting any health care or dental care. This is because the facilities don't exist, or because people don't have money to pay, because there is no free medical or surgical equipment. You may ask, why a ship? The Africa Mercy, compared to many tropical land-based hospitals in developing countries, offers, firstly, a very modern hospital with 5 operating theatres, 82 ward beds, and associated facilities. Secondly, an electrical supply and air conditioning that works by day and by night, really necessary in the tropics during long and challenging surgical procedures. Thirdly, a water supply that is safe and palatable. Fourthly, security. A team of Gurkhas control the ship gangway. Fifthly, regular maintenance, sometimes a rare commodity in many third world countries. Now let's see what happens while the ship is in port. Mess ships have and continue to serve people of all ethnic groups and religions. Using top surgical professionals, we seek to help all that we can, and all treatment is totally free. News that the ship is coming and that there will be selection days is disseminated via television, radio, newspapers, word of mouth, and through the local mobile phone networks. Even though the numbers of people attending on selection days, even though a huge number of people attend on selection days, every person is seen and assessed by a medical professional. Those accepted for surgery are given the all-important appointment card to return when the appropriate surgeon and hospital space is available. Those whose problem is not surgical or operable are given words of guidance and help. Before operating, it is vital to know what to expect. The presence of advanced diagnostic and laboratory services ensures that the surgeons have as much information as possible before surgery commences. In the pharmacy, the ship carries a comprehensive stock of medication for the patients, as local availability may be unreliable and quality variable. Now to some actual cases. The list on the right shows the widespread scope of surgical skills that are on offer. Some of the pictures are challenging to see, but please remain focused as you see lives being changed one at a time. Adama, aged 30, was 5 months pregnant when the world around her started to flicker and fade. Developing cataracts reduced her vision to shadows and shapes. The deterioration continued, and she had hoped that it would improve after her delivery. But no, she was blind. Now I can't walk alone, go to the market, cook or do laundry. Now I can't do anything without help, and I will never see my twin babies' faces. 9 months later, Adama heard about the Africa Mercy arriving in her country. Her surgery took under 30 minutes. When it was time for her patches to come off, she kept her eyes closed for a few moments. Would her sight be fully restored? Adama gradually opened her eyes. A smile slowly spread across her face as she realized she was seeing the world again for the first time in almost a year. I never expected that my babies would be so beautiful, she murmured. The cataract surgery Adama received took less than half an hour, but the impact of her restored sight will reverberate throughout the rest of her life. Francois' hungry baby, Junior, cried all night, so his mother stayed up rocking him through the long nights with only the company of a kerosene lamp. Mercyship's medical staff immediately recognized that baby Junior's condition was critical. He weighed a lot less than when he was born. They brought him on board the African Mercy immediately before the hospital was officially opened, so that they could monitor his condition and feed him. They fed him with a syringe and later got him a special bottle made for babies with cleft lip and palate. Towards the end of the ship's stay, Junior was now 3 times his birth weight. He was once again carried up the gangway, this time for a cleft lip repair, which would restore his future and reward his mother's hope. Sam was resigned to dying from his tumor. 10 local surgeons and a witch doctor had not been able to help him in 30 years. But after a 12-hour operation and 17 pints of blood from the walking blood bank, that's the crew, the tumor, which was larger than his head, was successfully removed. After his recovery, he was taken home, which was 2 days' walk. On the way home, they bumped into Sambani's wife, and she failed to recognize her husband when she saw him. But they have been reunited and are living happily in his village with their children. Marino's bowed leg started at an early age and gradually worsened as the years passed. But he didn't let anything, including misshapen legs, stop him from doing what he wanted. Few years later, his dad heard that the Mercy-ships had come. That's when they went to get help for their son. After a successful surgery to correct the bend in both legs, Marino was gently awakened by his mum. When he saw his plastered legs, he couldn't believe his eyes. "Mama, my legs are completely straight." He did not understand how it had happened while he was asleep. When the therapist gave the signal, he opened the plaster cast. His face was sheer amazement and full-on determination. These new legs were straight, but not yet strong. He was ready to put them through the necessary training with an end-on game in mind. Women are the glue that holds together so many families and communities in the countries that Mercy-ships visits. They nurture the next generation, keep traditions alive, and are the foundation of the real social network that matters. It's a complication of protracted childbirth that leave women permanently leaking urine and obstetric fistula. That is because the cesarean section that they needed was not available or could not be paid for. There are an estimated 80,000 new cases in Africa each year. For many of them, this means being thrown out of the family home, and all that they can do to survive is beg. After the surgery, as they regain their strength and dignity, their confidence returns. The women celebrate with a Mercy-ship dress ceremony, the ship's traditional rite of passage to being welcomed back into society. Rotten teeth cause severe pain and significant ill health. Most of the cases the dental staff see are caused by poor or non-existent local dental health care. In 2018, Mercy-Ships treated 6,500 patients, performing over 15,000 procedures. A few of the patients screened for surgery have conditions that Mercy-Ships can't treat. Sometimes they have to be told that they don't have long left to live. Our palliative care team work with these patients, preparing for the next few months, praying with them and making the patients as comfortable as possible. Medical capacity building. This is the second aspect of Mercy-Ships services in a country. Mercy-Ships aims to increase the capacity of each country's ability to deliver healthcare to their own people. This is done in three main areas. Firstly, surgery should be safe, but in many countries it isn't. The World Health Organization Safe Surgery Checklist is a tool used by Mercy-Ships to train hospital and clinic staff. This covers basic surgical skills. Secondly, reducing post-operative infection. Thirdly, safe anesthetic techniques. And fourthly, monitoring of overall surgical service. Secondly, Mercy-Ships also provides medical instruments and resources. Many, if not all, of the hospitals Mercy-Ships encounters have equipment that is too old to be used, or they just didn't have them in the first place. Thirdly, Mercy-Ships also recognizes the importance of a safe environment for surgery and healthcare delivery. Some of the hospitals and clinics are difficult to keep clean or cannot be used because they are unsafe. Mercy-Ships works with partners to renovate buildings, making them safe to be used. What can be achieved is dramatic. Before and after pictures. The potential for survival after surgery has been radically improved in this operating theatre. Additionally, the staff are trained in the use and maintenance of this new equipment. Results after training. The results after training healthcare professionals were demonstrated in Guinea. In 2012, the African Mercy was in Guinea. At the patient selection day, thousands of people queued waiting to be seen, including around 400 patients with cleft lip and palate. The crew developed a training program for one local surgeon, Dr. Karamba, in how to repair cleft lip and palate. In 2018, the ship returned to Guinea and the volunteers expected to see somewhat fewer cases in the patient queue. There were only 6. Dr. Karamba had not only performed hundreds of operations in the time the ship had been away, but he had trained other surgeons how to perform the repair. So summarizing, our ship's visits and engagement with a country last over an extended time. The aim is to tackle the root causes of problems rather than just the consequences. Each country has different needs, so Mercy-Ships adapts its service, aiming for the best possible outcome. Moving around the pie chart clockwise, lower left. After the initial invitation to visit, there is the signing of the protocol. Then the advance team arrives to prepare for the visit of the ship, see what needs to be done and what other organizations are achieving. Then, top of the pie chart, the visit of the ship, lasting an extended period of time. Finally, lower right, we continue to mentor the local professionals as they apply the training they have received in their local facilities, followed by a comprehensive assessment to evaluate the long-term success of each project and see what lessons can be learned so that we can continue to improve. But how is all this possible? Who does it? The answer is volunteers. The mercy ships are and always have been staffed by volunteers from around the world. Volunteers pay their flight costs plus bed and breakfast fees. These are a contribution to the living costs on board the ship, covering accommodation, food, laundry, internet, leisure facilities, etc. Of course, there are medical staff, surgeons, nurses, anaesthetists, dentists, physiotherapists, and a variety of medical technicians. We are a ship and need a full marine crew. We also need people to cook the food and serve it. Also electricians, plumbers, housekeepers, finance, human resources, and vehicle mechanics. Other specialized skills on board are IT staff, teachers to teach the children of parents on board, chaplains, sales and hospitality, people who are in human resources and finance, photographers and videographers to take pictures of our crew and patients. Also a writer to document our patients and staff. Some crews serve for 2 weeks, some for 2 months, some for 10 months, some for 2 years, and one family have served with Mercy Ship for 31 years. There is also a support team around the world who work tirelessly to support the mission of the ship. The national offices from 16 different countries target information, recruitment, and fundraising. These are the impressive statistics from a shortened visit to Senegal. They're all the more meaningful when we stop to consider the individual behind each figure. Each figure is a person, each person a family member, everyone desperate for hope and healing. Think of that in the number of lives, personal and family, that have been affected. Mercy Ship's aim is to provide cost-effective hands-on help where it's needed the most, and we would value your support. We can have literature sent to you if you wish, and if there is time, please do ask further questions. If you know of other places where we can make this presentation, then please let us know so that other people can hear about this wonderful work. Recently, Rotary Great Britain and Ireland announced that the largest Rotary Foundation global grant ever of $1.125 million has been approved after little more than 1 year's fundraising. This is for the impressive new ship, the Global Mercy. 341 UK Rotary clubs have contributed to this huge sum, which will be used for a CT scanner and other vital electronic equipment on board. The Global Mercy will join the Africa Mercy to transform the lives of thousands of the world's most poor and needy people who would otherwise be without hope. It's great to continue and build on the partnership between Rotary and Mercy Ships. Mercy Ships uses hospital ships to respond to global surgical crisis by reducing the surgical backlog in developing countries, and the new ship to be delivered towards the end of this year. This will increase our surgical capacity from 8,500 to 20,000 operations per year. And an update of how Mercy Ships have been affected following COVID-19. We brought forward our maintenance and dry docking. And this was our contribution to Senegal before we left the country. These items help the country with the new challenges that they were facing with escalating cases of COVID-19. We know that these are different times for many. We stopped going out, we stopped seeing friends, but we didn't stop caring, and we won't stop mercy. Please help providing mercy today. A lasting impact. Mercyship is working towards the day that sees diseases of poverty eradicated and local services and clinicians empowered to care for their community without our support. And 2 words says it all. Okay, well, that's the end of the presentation.
Fine.
Splendid, absolutely splendid.
Yeah.
It was very good.
My goodness, Dr. Rhodes, that was a very interesting presentation, and the professionalism of the slides was absolutely
First class.
more than first class.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Top class. Yeah.
Top class, absolutely. So before we get put it out to the floor with questions, because I'm sure that there are a few, I'd like to go back to the beginning, and I'd like you to share with us, Dr. Rhodes, what is it from then to now that you personally have got out of this work that you do for the Mercy Ships?
Thank you very much for asking. That's a very personal question, but let's see how we get on. Basically, I mean, we have been involved for about 16 years, and it's been, in a way, personally, perhaps rewarding. We have been maybe the catalyst to helping people to firstly to be involved, and secondly to give towards the work of Mercy Ships. And I have no idea, so don't ask me how much money we have actually been involved in. But it just goes on, and it is, for me, and my wife Iris, it is a wonderful privilege to have been part of this work, which we enjoy presenting, because that's the way the truth and the news gets around.
Yes, rewarding. That's it. That's it in a nutshell. So let's put this out to the floor. We've got a little while left before we need to close down. And who has got some questions for Dr. Rhodes? Can I see your hands, please? Oh, there we go. Richard, if you would please.
At the beginning of your presentation, you mentioned you had, I think it was 3 ships, and then you were down to 1. What happened to the other 2?
They went to the happy hunting ground in the sky for ships. And in fact, 2 of them justified the decision by breaking down on their way to the scrapyard and had to be towed the final bit of their journey. So it did prove quite a good judgment that we made at the time we made it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh yes, Mike, you've got your hand up.
Thank you, President. It may be that I'd got a misunderstanding of the Mercy Ship's role, or I treated it too tightly, in the sense that it's a service aboard ship all the time. So one of the slides that you presented was of a hospital that was in a fairly decrepit state, and how it looked after it had been improved. How much of the work goes into that, or how much of the charities activities go into that sort of work?
Thank you for that question. I suppose, in a way, the emphasis is gradually shifting. And this is one of the reasons why the Global Mercy is going to be an increasingly useful tool to us, because it provides more accommodation and much more space for training people to enhance their skills, which will maintain and help the countries that of their origin. And so there is a new lecture theatre on the new ship, which I think will hold 600 to 800 people. And so that is a useful tool in developing people's knowledge of what to do at the right time in the right place. Then, of course, as you mentioned, there is the changing to building structure, because you can't do good work in appalling surroundings.
Goodness me, goodness. Okay, now then we've got another question from another gentleman. I don't know where the ladies have got to today. So, David, your question, please.
As an exodus, actually, so a number of my colleagues work for the Mercy ships. I'm sorry that I never did it, actually, but it's absolutely fantastic what you're achieving. I was just wondering how much work you do outside Africa, or whether, I know it's very much focused on Africa, but what's the situation outside of Africa?
Thank you for your question. I think, firstly, may I say, if you feel that you're told for that, there is no maximum age limit of people who are allowed to volunteer for work on Mercy ships. So there's a minimum age of 18, but there is no maximum age. However, back to the main point of your question. Originally, and when they had 2 or 3 ships going at the same time, there was work carried out in various parts of the world. But the focus has now really come back to Africa, and 26 out of 30 of the poorest countries in the world are found in Africa, particularly sub-Saharan Africa. And so that has helped us to focus our work on that region. And the Global Mercy will also be working around what was formerly the source of the slave trade hundreds of years ago.
Gosh, that's quite incredible. Goodness me. You mentioned the slave trade, Dr. Rhodes. Is that still prevalent today, as we hear about on the news? And are any of those people that managed to get out of slavery, and they had some illness or need of medical attention, do they make their way to the Mercy ships?
Well, I think the current slave trade, of course, has different sources and different endpoints, and I think even the UK is an endpoint for current slavery. But in the old days, the slaves were taken to the West Indies from Africa, and having spent 3 years working in Jamaica in my youth, I met up with many people whose history was of being part of the slave trade, and it was very interesting and an occasionally challenging time when I was there between 1959 and 1962. So the slave trade has changed in its source and its target from hundreds of years ago. And so now the people are still moving away from Africa, but the people who are left still have a large need, which is not met by what the local medical services.
Thank you for that. So do we have one? Oh, we do have one more question. There we are, 2 in fact. So I'll go to Roy first. Roy, thank you.
Thank you, Patricia. Dr. John, do they waive the docking fees in the countries?
Yes, the countries do not actually pay for the Africa Mercy to visit. But there is often with the team that goes ahead of the ship a certain amount of negotiation so that the work of the ship is streamlined, and there will be negotiation over wharfage fees. There will be no negotiation over easy access, and if visas are required, the provision of visas for people who work on the ship.
Thank you.
Thank you. And Mike, I believe that will be the last question. So Mike, your question, please.
Thank you, President. It's a practical one, really. I'm sure that all those individuals that take advantage of the service that's provided don't conveniently live on the coast or in a port. What arrangements are put in place for them to get to the ports, or are they left to achieve that under their own steam?
I think, yes, it's amazing how far some people will travel to get help from the visits of the mercy ships. After all, for most of them, it is their only hope. And so they will travel phenomenal distances to do that. If people are significantly incapacitated, once they have got the ticket for their necessary surgery, transport will be arranged to bring them into the ship. And so, because I think we run about 20 odd vehicles on board ship. And so that is something where we can help people come to the ship at the right time for their surgery. And that is a help to them.
Thank you. Thank you very much. That was a really interesting question, Mike. Well, I just wanted to go over to Ted and then over to Richard for the vote of thanks. Ted, was there something that you wanted to share with us when you were organising this with Dr. Rhodes, and any difficulties that you had, and did we have to wait? Were we far down on the waiting list?
No. Soon I emailed Dr. Rhodes. He came back straight away, and when I said this is the date, he said that's okay with me. I think I put it down in my diary to come to speak to the Bournemouth Rotary on this particular day, January 25th. We had no problems whatsoever to organise this, and that's been very, very useful and very helpful because of that. He's been so punctual and in his response, so we was able to put it in our diary straight away.
Thank you very much. It's good to know, and I appreciate all the work that you do for us, Ted. I do appreciate that. Thank you. Well, let me then hand over to Rotarian Richard, who will give the vote of thanks.
Yes, thank you. Normally I'd be saying welcome to Bournemouth and thank you for the presentation, but we're now saying welcome to our homes and thank you for your presentation. We have as a club supported Mercy ships for some time, and we're proud to be part of the contribution to the Global Mercy. So we look forward to hearing more of that. Although we realised it was a very good cause, I don't think we had any concept of the marvellous detail that you provided in your presentation.
Yeah.
And the figures are quite staggering and very impressive. So we realise what a marvellous charity this is. So thank you very much for the time you've given, and thank you for your presentation, which has been very well received.
Yeah.
And it's nice to hear it's been recorded as well, so that's great. So I'll ask everybody to join me in thanks. I don't know what happens to applause over Zoom. It probably blow the place apart, but it's well meant. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed for your kind words.
It works.
Thank you so much. Dr. Rhodes, I'm not sure about your time schedule, but if you're most welcome to stay with us for just a few more minutes for us to deal with a little bit of pomp and ceremony will happen shortly, or otherwise if you need to go, whatever needs to happen your end. Thank you.
I'll stay on for a few minutes. Thank you.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Well, first of all, I want to say that those photographs that we received from Amanda, sent out by Talbot for the churchyard, St. Peter's Churchyard, with all those wonderful plants coming up, you know, it just warms my heart to see something like that. But you know, even during this awful time that we're going through across the world, we've got new shoots coming out. It's wonderful. So Jane, I can see you on the screen smiling away. I'm sure that you're happy about that.
Very happy, yes. It's been really lovely. I've been going down every week with my sons just to do litter picking, because obviously you're not supposed to travel, but I have to check the church a few times a week and pick up mail and things. So we do a couple of hours each Tuesday litter picking. And so we, you know, and literally now we're picking up half a bag of rubbish and maybe 3 shops a week, whereas it was, you know, 30, 50 bags a week and 200 shops. So just that, by that alone, it proves that the antisocial behaviour is pretty much missing now. And yeah, all the wonderful flowers are coming through, which is just
great.
So thank you so much, all of you.
Oh, that's wonderful. And isn't it nice to know that this yeah, it's another pandemic, drugs, this antisocial behaviour that's going on in the world. Isn't it nice to, if the environment is clean, is tidy, it looks pleasing to the eye, well, it changes one's behaviour. Yeah, I can feel, you know, the head shaking. It's a good thing. So that's wonderful. Okay, well,
I got something here. Sorry.
Oh yes.
Morris told me to get the egg. Look, Fred Daldry was a member of Bournemouth Rotary, and he's got a big obituary in tonight's Echo, the leading light of the YMCA. He was a big YMCA worker, and also a member of the Bournemouth Rotary. And this was in tonight's Echo. And he mentions Bournemouth Road, through the course of the article, and I've got this because Morris wanted us to have this, so I can give this.
It's very well observed.
Leading light of the YMCA is called.
Very good.
Wonderful. Well, thank you, Morris, for attending to that. You know, again, you two do a sterling job as PR person. Thank you.
Welcome.
For that. And Ted, I'm glad to hear that you listened to what, you know, Mr. Morris had to say.
Yeah.
And then you went out and got the Echo. Good for you. Well done. Okay, let's have a little bit of fun now. And I've got the magic red bag, and I'm going to draw a raffle ticket. We will see which number comes out, and Talbot will tell us who's won and what the prize is. So, Dr. Rhodes, this is something that we do every week. We do it in person when we meet, and we do it on Zoom as well. But with a couple of caveats, the secretary, who will tell us who the winner is, and myself, we are not in the draw. We've contributed, but we're not in the draw, so that, you know, everything is above board. Right, hand going in, twirling around. I've got one coming out, and the number is, the year I wasn't born.
51.
51, Talbot.
This will cheer up after a dental appointment.
Well done, Astrid.
Oh, Astrid, well done, well done. And what does Astrid win?
Well, normally it's a bottle of wine, but I think Astrid would prefer a glass of Guinness, but never mind.
No. It's Burns night tonight, so is there a bottle of whiskey that's going spare?
Good girl. Well done.
To
Well done.
dinner tonight, and I'll bring a bottle of whiskey. How's that?
We'll all be round. We'll all be round for some nips and whatever the other thing is that they have there.
Nips and tatties.
That's it. That's it. So before I do the retiring toast, is there anything that anyone would like to contribute? Jill, I see you're in a different place today, and your name is now called Summer.
I don't know about that. Feels more like winter here.
Okay. All right. And let's see, Ted, is there something?
Yes, just to say that the next speaker on Wednesday, the 3rd of February, is Howard Matthews from Shelterbox. Is the next speaker. That's on the 3rd of February.
Excellent.
That's in the evening. Yeah.
Do you know, talking about that, it's just got the old brain box ticking. I think I might have mentioned it to Morris and even to Talbot. I have a friend, an expat in Shanghai in China, who's a financial person, and he said that he'd be willing to come to us on Zoom and talk to us about financials. So is that something that we'd be interested in? Yeah. Mary's shaking her head.
Yeah. Yes, right.
Okay. I'm not sure what aspect he'll be speaking from.
I think that's it.
Okay, so we'll get that organised. I'll get in touch with Ted and we'll get that done. Marjorie, something to add to the conversation today?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. And how about you, Henri?
Well, I wasn't going to, but you should ask me.
Go on. Come on.
Esme Head died last week. Most
yeah.
people will know that Philip was a member for many years, and of course, continued by his son, a member of the club. I think she had been in poor health for some time, and obviously we know about Roger Waters, who had Parkinson's, and not an easy time, but I have very happy memories talking to him about his Morgan car.
Yeah.
Love that, which is very nice. And the other thing was, don't start packing your bags for Guernsey in October because it's been cancelled.
Oh.
Yep, that's the Rotary conference just come through. I suppose it's the sheer volume of people is the problem. So perhaps another year.
Yes, perhaps another year. It's been a different year. In fact, I was thinking this morning, I wonder how they coped. I'll be with you in a moment, Talbot. I wonder how they coped during the war. The meetings. I think we've done very well going on Zoom.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, Talbot. I was going to ask the rest of the members something, but yes, of course, you were going to say.
What I wanted to say is, please don't ask Henry to talk because he always has bad news.
Oh, yes, sir.
I think it's because I'm the almoner.
Oh dear. But I do tell you what, Henry, would be absolutely fabulous if you could manage that one time, either on Zoom or when we're back in the meeting, and arrange it with Ted, because you are the keeper of all those souvenirs in the cupboard, in the lockup at the airport. Perhaps you could talk us through the contents one time.
Something to look forward to.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I can't get to the airport at present.
No, not at that's right. That's right. Carol and Robin, something to add today?
No, I don't think so. No,
no.
we're still here. We're still here.
Thank you. Richard?
No, fine, thank you.
Thank you. Jane?
Oh, all good.
All good. Mary?
No, just to say I thoroughly enjoyed Dr. John's talk. It was very Thank you.
Thank you. Morris?
No, nothing from Morris. I'm delighted though that we got Fred's obituary in the Echo, and I'll go and get that copy now. Thanks for that, Ted.
Yes, I've got it here as well. Yep.
Wonderful. Stephen, how about you? Is there something you'd like to add to today's meeting?
I'm okay. Okay, I've had my COVID injection.
Hey!
Just had a slight reaction to it, but there we are.
Well done. Well done. Yes, as I was telling Talbot today, well, he told me actually, the under 35s are allowed, so I got mine yesterday. Oh dear. David, is there something you'd like to add?
No, we're just very impressed with John Rhodes' background there with those locks there anyway.
Yeah, absolutely.
Very nice.
Thank you. And how about you, Roy?
No, thanks very much to Dr. John, and it's really nice to see everybody.
Yeah, it's nice to see you too.
Thank you.
See you
Oh,
next.
yes, Michael.
If I may, compliments have been given about the state of St. Peter's Churchyard, and certainly they're well deserved. Picking up on Jane's comment that she's still going there every Tuesday because she's got a job to do, are we likely to be starting up the Tuesday morning works in the near future?
Yeah, I mean, basically, I think what we've done is leave it up to people, because some people, you know, can very easily get there. They're sort of quite nearby. And to be honest, my view is that if you're working in a group of two, that's no different from going exercising with somebody. So, you know, I know one guy's definitely coming along tomorrow afternoon. So I think, you know, it's a 4-acre site almost. So there's plenty of places you can go and work. And to me, that's exercise. So that's my view. It really is. It's great to be outdoors. Even doing a couple of hours every Tuesday's been brilliant. It's just cheered me up. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's, this lockdown is too much.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Mike. Astrid, do you have something?
Thank you.
I got the name right today, didn't I?
I noticed.
I'm learning. And Talbot, is there something you need to add?
No, nothing to add.
And do we have secretary's notices?
No notices. No, you'll be pleased to know there's nothing to add. No.
Nothing to add at all. Well, then I believe, John, this is when we do the pomp and ceremony. If you do have a cup or a glass, I would like Rotarians, please, to raise a glass for the retiring toast and Rotary and peace the world over. Thank you all very much for coming along this afternoon. And I need to thank Roy once again for hosting the session. So God bless you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Keep safe.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Good luck.
Go
Bye
home
now.
now.
Bye.
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 Oh, it's happened then. Oh, it's gone through.
Hmm.